Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to Chenda DIY. Today video I'll be showing you how to crochet a puff dress. It is a really easy pattern if you guys know some basic stitches like single crochet, double crochet and half double crochet. And in this tutorial I also showing you how to make your own size, how to measurement on your body step by step. Okay, now let's get into the video. First, we'll start making from the top part of the dress. To begin, make a slip knot. And chain 125. It is equal 23 inches length. It's the size around my underbust. If you guys want it bigger, please add more chains. After you got your desired fit, next we are going to make single crochet. For row 1, skip one chain and make single crochet into the second chain. To make single crochet, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull through the loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all the loops. Keep repeating this into every chain until you reach the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, next for row 2, chain 1, turn your work and make single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. Next, for row 3, we are going to repeat the same thing like row 2. After you got 3 rows of single crochet, then wrap this around your underbust and use stitch marker to mark at the underarm part. You guys can mark it only one side and then fold this into 2 pieces and mark at the same place where the first stitch marker is. The purpose of doing this is that we are going to separate the back part, and the bust part is where we are going to make the front puff. Next, we are going to make the back part. To begin, continue from where your last stitch is. Start from row 4, chain 1, turn your work, and make single crochet into every stitch until you reach the first stitch marker. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the stitch marker, next for row 5, chain 1, turn your work, and make single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 5 until you reach row 30. It is equal 4.5 inches width. It's the size from underbust to underarm. If you guys want it longer, please add more rows. This is what the first back part looks like. Next, we are going to make the bust part or the front puff. Continue from where your last stitch is and chain 7. It is equal 1.5 inches. It is the size from underarm to the chest. If you guys want it longer, please add more chains. After you reach your desired fit, next we are going to make double crochet. Start from row 1, skip 2 chain. Then make double crochet into the 3rd chain. To make double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull through the loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. Keep repeating this into every chain and into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, so this is what it looks like for the first row. We are working on the lengthway. Next, for the end of the row, slip stitch into the underbust part. To make slip stitch, insert the hook into the loop. Yarn over and pull through all the loops. Next, for row 2, slip stitch into the next single crochet stitch. Then turn your work and make double crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. Remember, always count the number of your stitch so you will know that your rows stay normal or keep increasing. If you have 30 stitches in one row, for your next row must have the same number of the stitches. Remember, chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Next, for row 3, chain 2, turn your work and make double crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, next we are going to make slip stitch into a single crochet stitch. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 2 and repeat row 3 into every stitch of single crochet stitch until you reach the second stitch marker. Then I will meet you back again. Remember, make sure that you make slip stitch into every single crochet stitch without skipping any stitches. For the front puff part, I'm using 1.6mm hook because I use seam thread when I use 3.5mm hook to crochet the double crochet stitch. The stitch will look loose and have a big gaps between those double crochet stitches. So I'm use big hook for only crochet the single crochet stitch. If you guys use bigger thread like 4 ply or 5 ply, you can use the same hook. You don't have to chain like me. And one more thing, if you guys want the front puff look more puffy, please make a loosen double crochet by pull it a little bit longer than normal. And when you slip stitch into the single crochet stitch, it will look ruffled. So I still have one stitch remain, but I'm going to skip it. This is what the front puff looks like. Next, we are going to make the second side of the back part. Continue from where your last stitch is. And we are going to make single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. Next, for row 2, chain 1, turn your work, and make single crochet into every stitch until you have one last stitch. Then I will meet you back again. After you had one last stitch, next we are going to make single crochet slip stitch into the bust part or into the double crochet stitch. To make single crochet slip stitch, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull through the loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Note, for this first double crochet, we are going to skip it because this first double crochet, it keeps for the first row of single crochet that we did in the previous. Then continue insert the hook into the second double crochet. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. This is how we connect the back part into the bust part. Next, for row 3, slip stitch into the next double crochet stitch. Next, turn your work. Then make single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 2 and repeat row 3 until you got 30 rows, include the underbust row. It is equal 4.5 inches width. It's the same size like the first back part. Don't forget to count the number of your stitches in every row, so you will know that your rows stay normal or keep increasing. Count 5 stitches away from the edge and use stitch marker to mark at the 6th stitch. Keep repeating row 2 and row 3 until you reach the stitch marker or until you got 30 rows of single crochet. Then I will meet you back again. After you got 30 rows of single crochet, then chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Next, we are going to make the lower part. You guys can start from any side of it. Then attach the yarn into the very first stitch of single crochet row. And chain 1. Next, for row 1, we are going to make half double crochet into the same stitch with chain 1. To make half double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull through the loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Keep repeating this into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, next for row 2, chain 2, turn your work and make half double crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 2 until you reach row 13. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row of row 13, then we are going to slip stitch both edges together. If you guys want the back corset more deeper, please add more rows before you slip stitch both sides together. After you have made slip stitch, next for row 14, turn your work, chain 2, and make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach chain 2 stitch. Then I will meet you back again. Don't forget to use stitch marker to mark at the chain 2 stitch. It is where we are going to make slip stitch into it. After you reach the stitch near stitch marker, then we are going to make slip stitch into the chain 2 stitch to connect the row. Next, for row 15, chain 2, turn your work, and make half double crochet into every stitch around until you reach the chain 2 stitch or until you reach the stitch marker. Then we are going to make slip stitch into the chain 2 stitch to connect the row. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 15 until you reach row 22. It is equal 5 inches length. It is the size from underbust to navel or belly button. If you guys want it longer, please add more rows. After you reach at your belly button, next we are going to make the hip part of the dress. So this is the middle part of the dress. Then use stitch marker to mark at the both sides of the dress. We are going to make increasing stitch where we mark. Start from row 23, chain 2, turn your work and make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the first stitch marker. Then we are going to make increase by make 2 half double crochet into the same stitch. Remove stitch marker and make 2 half double crochet into the stitch. After you have made 2 half double crochet into the same stitch, next continue make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach the second stitch marker. Then we are going to make increase again. Remember, after you have made increase, then use stitch marker to mark at the stitch in front of the increasing stitch. It is where we are going to make increase for the next row. After you have made increasing stitch, then continue make half double crochet into every stitch until you reach chain 2 stitch, and we are going to make slip stitch into the chain 2 stitch to connect the row. For the next row, we are going to repeat row 23 until you reach row 49. It is equal 32 inches length. It's the size around my hip. If you guys want it bigger, please keep increasing until you reach your hip measurement. After you reach your hip measurement, then remove stitch marker. Next, for row 50 until row 86, we are going to chain 2, turn your work and make half double crochet until you reach the chain 2 stitch. Then make slip stitch into the chain 2 stitch to connect the row. We are not going to make increasing stitch anymore. And if you guys want your dress longer, please add more rows. This is in case for you guys want to know how I connecting the yarn after I finish one ball. After you got 3 loops on your hook, then drop the old yarn and we are going to grab the new yarn and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. This is how I connecting the yarn. Then grab these 2 strands of yarn along with the row. And we are going to continue make half double crochet into every stitch around until you reach chain 2 stitch and make slip stitch to connect the row. For my dress, measurement from underbust to row 86, it is equal 19.5 inches length. Next, we are going to make ruffle edge around the dress. For this ruffle, I'm using 3.5mm hook. For row 1, chain 3 and make 4 double crochet into the same stitch. If you guys use bigger thread than me, you can make 2 stitches in the same loop or 3 stitches in the same loop. Keep making 4 double crochet into each stitch around until you reach the chain 3 stitch, then slip stitch to connect the row. After you have made slip stitch, next for row 2 until row 4, chain 3. Then make double crochet into every stitch around until you reach the chain 3 stitch. Then make slip stitch to connect the row. If you guys want the ruffle longer, please add more rows. After you got 4 rows of double crochet, next chain 1 and cut off the yarn. For the next part, we are going to make the corset holes. To begin, attach the yarn and chain 1. Next, for row 1, make single crochet into every stitch until you have one last stitch. Then I will meet you back again. After you had one last stitch, then we are going to make single crochet 2 together. To make single crochet 2 together, insert the hook into the loop, yarn over and pull through the loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Then continue insert the hook into the next stitch of the other side, yarn over and pull through the loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Next, continue make single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, next for row 2, chain 3, turn your work, skip 2 stitches, and make single crochet into the next 4 stitches. After you have made 4 stitches of single crochet, then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and make single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Keep repeating this around until you reach the other side, then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Make sure that both sides have the same number of the stitches. Next, we are going to make the strap for the dress. Count 12 stitches away from the edge, and we are going to attach the yarn at the 13th stitch. Then make 170 chains. It is equal 24 inches length. For the strap, I'm using small hook because I don't want the strap look thick. Like I said, if you guys use thicker thread than mine, you can use bigger hook and make only foundation chains. Next, we are going to make slip stitch. To begin, skip 1 chain and make slip stitch into every chain until the end of the row. Then I will meet you back again. After you reach the end of the row, then make slip stitch into the back part and chain 1, cut off the yarn. Next, repeat the same thing to the other side. For the back lace, I'm using 3.5mm hook and make 250 chains. Then make slip stitch into every chain. It is equal 33 inches length. If you guys want it longer, please add more chains. Next, for the front strap, I'm using 1.6mm crochet hook. Make 440 chains. Then make slip stitch into every chain. It is equal 57 inches length. And now your puff dress is done. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to click like and leave a positive comment down below. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.